Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video and another episode working on this guy right there. That is the F-15E Strike Eagle that we are turning into an ROAKF. No, wrong. ROKAF South Korean F-15K Slam Eagle. As you can tell, this thing is super glossy. So, how did that happen? Well, let's talk about it. I spent a good week working on this thing and putting decals on. And I got all the decals on it. And after I put all the decals on, well, I gloss coated it to get a nice even coat on everything. As you can see, this thing is nice and shiny, but we're not going to keep it that way, are we? No, because these things don't stay like this for more than 5 minutes out of the assembly line. Not that they have a line or anything, but yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, I got this thing ready. What are we ready for, though? Is it final assembly time? No, not quite yet. I got to do some weathering. I got to put some dark panel lining everywhere on this thing. Am I going to be using my regular Tamiya black panel liner? No. Why not? Well, because for doing F-15s and stuff like that, I like this stuff better. This is AK Interactive's panel liner. This one happens to be panel liner for blue-gray camouflage. Okay? And I like this one, gray and blue. And well, look at this thing, it's kind of grayish blue. This stuff is great, and one thing I like about this stuff, it comes off easy, it stays where it's supposed to, and I love it. Gotta shake it up. I haven't shaken this stuff up in a while, so I gotta make sure all the pigment is off the bottom, and we're gonna have a good time with it. We're gonna have a good time making the model look really messy and a little bit dirty. That's par for the course. Okay, so just making sure we've got all the pigment mixed up in there, because we're about to go to town on making this little boy messy looking. Now, that being said, I'm not going for a super grimy look. I'm just going for a weathered look. Okay. It's really all I'm going for. Just a little bit weathered. You can see it's, well, the camera doesn't do it justice. Speaking of which, let's change this. Okay, ta-da, here we are, a nice shiny plane, about to get real dirty. And yeah, so dip our brush in here and we just follow the panel lines. Nice and messy, doesn't matter. That's the beauty of this stuff. And another beautiful thing, you can clean it up or you can leave it as messy as you like. It's up to you. And that's one thing I love about this stuff. Now, these are like rivet lines that I'm doing right now. Why am I doing rivet lines? Because they're raised. Well, not because I'm going to be leaving a whole lot of this, but if a little bit of this happens to stay behind in those as I clean it off of the rivets, well, so be it. There's a nice line there, I almost forgot. I could just paint this, I could paint the whole thing with it if I wanted. It doesn't really matter. This stuff has a very unique characteristic that it doesn't really dry 100%. Okay? It doesn't. I could come back on here an hour from now and still kind of wipe it away with my finger. I'm going to go right in that gap there with those. So this is our, right in there, get lots in there and in here, all in there, down in here too, why not, right? It's all up to you how dirty or clean you want your plane to be. want this just to be shown. Thank you, ambulances. Thank you for your services. First responders. They just seem to go by my place very often. Yeah. If I didn't like it, then I should move, right? Lots of little panel lines going across here. Some of them, it's even hard to see because it's so glossy. I get a bit of a glare from my lights on this thing. But again, that's okay because a lot of this stuff is going to get cleaned off. And if some happens to stay behind, that's perfectly fine too. Nothing wrong with it. Now, this section here where the machine gun is, this really should be. They didn't give me a lot of detail, and I'm actually surprised that they didn't give you the option of having a little panel open here to display the machine gun detail. But it's also quite alright that they didn't. Now obviously there is lots of detail that they give you on this kit. Are the panel lines as sharp as a Tamiya kit? No. I'll say that right off the bat. They're not as sharp as a Tamiya kit. Do you have to go over them yourself? I would say no. You don't have to. Although some of the detail on them here is a little bit vague, they seem to get a little bit shallow as we get back towards the engines here. I couldn't even see this one with my glasses on. That's quite alright. Now, could I be a bit more precise with my brush? Sure. But that's the beauty of this stuff, is you don't have to be. That's what I really like about it. You don't have to be precise. This engine here, I can just slather that all on there. It's all going to clean off. It's all going to wipe off. The main thing is I want to keep it in the lines. Now, of course, I am going to be letting this dry. I am going to let it dry, so there's no worry about that. So don't panic. I'm not about to try and wipe this off wet. At the end of the day, I want it clean. I just don't need it pristine. I'm not going for a brand new airplane look, but I'm not going for an overly worn out plane either. So somewhere in between is going to be the sweet spot. Discovering more lines as I'm going around. I'm just going to paint the whole front edge of this just because it's makes it a little faster. Am I in a rush? Well, not necessarily, but still. Now, of course, a lot of this stuff could have been enhanced with some pre-shading. As you can see, there's a lot of different lines on these wings that I didn't bother pre-shading at all. Okay, that's the top of the wings. I'm going to turn this guy around just in the interest of making sure I got all the lines on this wing. And of course I didn't. And these ones I missed. Missed that line. Actually missed all of these rivets through here. Missed that line. All the rivet detail around here. Okay, I think we're almost there. All right. There we go. Might as well do the nose up at the front here, just to say I did it. I'm done. I'll come back to this area anyway in a little while, but there we go. Okay, so there we go. That's what we got to do. That's what we're starting with, and it's a good thing I put that lid on. And so I'm going to let that dry. Okay, and while I'm letting that dry, I forgot to put a clear coat on my tail fins. I need to do that. I can do my elevators before I clean up my brush. Let me just quickly grab my clear and spray my tail fins. And for my clear coat, I just use Tamiya's TS13 as my gloss. Grab a couple of these and let's just put that there. That's ready. And we'll put this here. Nice and ready to put up in my little thing here. Okay. Pop that off. There's one, nice and shiny, put up there. And there's the other one, again, nice and shiny, woohoo. Okay, those guys can sit and dry for a little while. And we'll go back and we'll do our elevators real quick here. The elevators, they don't have panel lines that are inset except for here, and that's it. Two little spots. The other panel lines are raised, which is a little strange, but whatever. So just do that. I don't want to do the underneath yet. I'll do that later. So we're just going to do the top. Show you guys how I do this. And there we go. I'll get in there, and I'll do that little arc. There. Okay. Now I'll clean my brush. Now, of course, I do have a lot of paint that I'm going to be removing here. And as such, it's going to be a bit messy. If you're a lot more refined at it than what I just did, then obviously cleanup is a little better. Right? Makes sense? Of course it does. But to make your life a little easier, I'm just going to put these over here so they're out of my way and can let those dry. Now, like I said when I started this doesn't really dry. It takes a really long time to cure, okay? And because it takes so long to cure, I'm going to be able to wipe most of this away just with a cloth. And because it's in that drying phase, it's trying to cure, it's not going to really pull out from the lines. See how I'm just doing a very light touch and I'm getting rid of most of it, but it's staying in the panel line, very harshly staying in there. And now I can choose how heavy and how light I want to go with the cleanup. I can leave the streaks. You notice I'm going in this direction. That's the direction of airflow. And so that's what I want to do. And because I've got that clear coat on there, it's not biting down into the color. Okay? And that's the beauty of this stuff. So even on the engine parts, on the silver, I can just leave it, and you can see I've just made lots of streaks, but yet I've cleaned it up, and it's cleaning up, but I'm not totally getting rid of it. And that's the beauty of this. Okay? And you can see, especially where I got the glare on there, where I actually painted it. But I can rub this and I can buff it a little bit down even more and kind of get rid of those, and I can soften those lines up. If I really want to clean it, I can add a little bit of the white spirit to my cloth and really clean it up. But that's not what I want to do, at least not yet. Okay? That's going to be more for refining the look. Right now, I'm just cleaning it up, but at the same time, I'm leaving it in the panel lines. You notice it's staying in the lines. I'm not pulling it out of the lines. It's not being pulled out. It's just going across because I'm not using thinner. If I put some thinner on this, with this being so fresh, I really run the risk of pulling it out of the lines. And so that's why I'm doing this with a dry cloth. So I really don't want it to pull out of the lines. I just want to clean it up. But then again, that's the beauty of this. Let's continue over on this one here. The other thing about this is it definitely, the more you leave on, the darker your color is, right? So this plane looks a lot darker gray than it did 20 minutes ago. But that's part of this whole process, right? Which is also why I didn't want to use a really dark gray as my base, because I knew I'd be coming back and doing this kind of stuff. And it was going to darken the whole look of the plane, right? There. We have a plane that now looks considerably dirtier, and yet realistic, without going overboard. Now, there's spots I could clean up. Yes, for sure. I want to do this a little bit because I got it a little bit lopsided compared to the other side. Do this. Do my tail fins here. Alright. Like I've already said a few times now, you want to clean it up more, you can. If you want a really dirty look, you can leave it looking dirty. If you want it cleaner, you can clean it. It's all up to you. I think I've got this beginnings of a really good look here that I like. Getting in here to clean it is a bit more challenging, of course, but that's all right. Go on our nose here where we did that little bit. All right. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, I got a spot I forgot here. Didn't do that spot. Didn't really do in between the engines very well. So let's get in there. And this little spot here I didn't do. So once again, it's all in how clean or how dirty you want the look to be. And I think I got a good look going on right now. It's dirty. It's definitely not a brand new plane anymore. And we're on the right track. Yes. All right. Let's flip it over and let's do the other side. And get this side started. I want to be a little careful because I've taken my masking tape off of here, and so now it's going to be resting right on my seats, and I don't like that. So let's figure something out here. Nice, soft, cushy place to sit. Shake up my bottle again. Okay. Clearly I need to take my glasses off to see all my lines. Actually, I'm going to hold this for a little bit while I do this front part here. A lot of lines. I put a lot of panels at the front of this plane. Even go right over those things, and it's not going to matter. Right on through the designation there. Draw around our little boxes and all our, there's so many panel lines on where all the ordnance goes. really did a lot of detail there. Alright, that's one side. Let's flip it over so I can do this side. Alright, let's get back to the underneath here. I will say the bellies of a lot of F-15s, well, they get pretty dirty, especially from here back. I see a lot of them have, it's almost a common thing for them to be really dirty from the landing gear back. So this is one area here that I am going to keep fairly dirty. And may even add some different grease tones. It's funny, the more angles I look at this thing, the more I'm seeing panel lines that are otherwise very shallow and it's hard to see. If anything, I'd say that is one benefit of having the gloss coat on it. is that I can change the angle and see where different lines are that are otherwise hidden. A lot of rivet lines going right along here. So let's draw them in. Just like that. And just like we did up top, we're going to just smear this engine detail like that. And because I know from pictures, seeing pictures, there's always this smear of exhaust at the back here from whatever vents out of those. Okay, we got lots of lines at the leading edge of the wing, so I'm just going to paint the front edge of the wing here. Get in all those lines. Almost on the first side. All right, that side's done. You just smeared up top there, that's okay. Let's turn this around. Once again, just paint this whole leading edge. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this, think about it like this. You're telling a story. Okay? What is the story you're telling? Well, the story is, where did all this weathering come from? Okay? You can add a random streak somewhere and basically tell the story that there was a hydraulic leak from a particular spot, and it leaked a bunch of hydraulic fluid all over in that spot, and it never got cleaned up. For example, there's like some kind of little ports here, something like that. I could just do this, where I didn't do it on that side, and basically say, yep, there was something that went on with something there and it leaked, and they never did anything about it. Yeah, obviously they repaired the leak, but they didn't bother cleaning it up. Right? And that's the story. And that's all it needs to be. Alright. That's done. So, we've done our... You like the shine? Oh, thank you, Yoala. And I apologize if it took this long to respond. Yeah. Okay, so we have our tail fins. That's nice and dry. So I am going to do these. Okay, there's one side. Oh, there's a line going all the way along here. Okay. I actually got runs on this side, so I'm not going to touch this one. I gotta let this one dry. How are you doing? Here. I gotta run this one. Okay. So, change of plans. Those are going to need another 10 minutes or so to dry. I put the clear coat on a little too thick. Okay, so I put the clear a little too thick on my tail fins, and I actually got runs. That's got to be the first time in I don't know how many years that I got runs from spray painting because I put it too thick. And that's what happens. See, spray painting out of the can with paint that is a little bit, it's a little empty. It's half full. And so I tend to hold down the thing longer, do it a little harsher, and get that coverage that I want, right? And stupid. Get that coverage that I want, and then I wind up putting it on really thick. Oh, okay. So we'll hold this like this, and I got a message I got to deal with it. No, I don't. I'm okay. Let's see. Just a sec, guys. Give me a minute. Okay, so, where were we? Oh yeah, time to clean this up. Hold this like this. Do I need my glasses? No, not really. Let's change the camera for you so you can see this in nice big view. Again, I'm not pressing super hard. I don't really care about that. I don't need to, because this stuff is so easy to wipe off, and yet I get to keep that look that everybody's looking for of it's used, it's not abused, but it's used, and it's a little bit dirty, a little bit grimy, but not too much. It's not over the top. Making sure I got that cleaned up on the nose. Good. Now if you start getting too much on the cloth, just move it and clean it up a little bit better. That's all you got to do. If the cloth is getting too dirty and it's not cleaning it up, well, shift to a different spot on the cloth. Simple. Really simple. Okay, so let's move over to this side. I'm going to actually shift the cloth here a little bit. Just putting light pressure. I get to go as light or as hard as I want. That's the beauty of this. I really like this. This I really do like in preference to just straight up panel lining, because you're kind of doing two things at once. You're doing the panel lining and you're doing some weathering all at once. And that really is a nice thing. Now, getting in your little areas, like in these little tight spots, yeah, obviously that's a little more difficult. You can go in there with a Q-tip if it's really just you can't get in there with your finger. So far I'm doing okay. I'm getting in the spots I need to. At least I think I am. For me, it helps to have a long fingernail to get in there. I'm going to have to use I'm just going to grab a regular cotton bud. This one's been used, it's a little rough. Just to help me get in those little corners that I can't get with my fingers. And it just comes right off. Okay, just like right in here. Just do that. There we go. Just like that. Done. Get in this one because that's a little too hard to get at. Now obviously with the Q-tips you get it gets dirty pretty quick, and so you have to keep changing them out. That's the nature of those things. Just right along this edge in here. Okay, I'm going to do this wing here so that I can actually grab it and hold it by the wing. Careful not to ruin my seats. I want to be able to hold it, so I want to do this wing. There we go. That wing's done. There we go. Let's do this wing next. And once again, I don't need a lot of pressure, just a little bit is all it takes. But I do want to do it I want to wipe in the direction of what would be airflow. And get that cleaned up in that direction. There we go. That one looks good too. Both sides look good. Now I need a little more here on this edge. There we go. Perfect. All right. Main event. Center. First, we'll start with their little edges in here. Do this side. The temptation I have is going to be to do not as dirty as it really should be. I have a tendency to want to go light with my weathering. Even on a plane where it's like, I want this thing to be really dirty looking, I wind up not really making it all that dirty looking. I don't know why. Okay, these ones I'm making sure to only brush or only wipe in this direction. And although it does look dirtier, it's not enough. This, I want to do that. I want it to kind of smear just a little bit. Okay, and that's it. But, like I said, it's looking pretty good. It definitely looks better. But I need more here. I need more weathering, especially down in this area, right? So, let's take a look what I've got. I know I want like fuel streaks and grime and stuff like that. What have we got here? I got rust streaks, but really that's just going to be a brownish color. Streaking grime. Streaking grime is a good one. So let's get this going. And we're going to add a bunch of that. Okay, so we're going to add some streaking grime in this area here. It's more of a brownish color, okay? Same kind of thing, and we're just going to add it in here because you'll see in a little bit why. So I'm not actually adding it to look like, you know, grime has leaked out anywhere. It's just because for some reason these planes actually look like that. They are just really, really dirty from the landing gear back, right? And so that's what I need to do. I need to clean that up. I'm not trying to actually do any streaking. I just want a general messy effect, which is why you can take this stuff and streak it, and that's what it's meant for. But I don't want to do that. That's not the effect I'm going for here. I am going for more of a dirty, smeared, stained look, like this. This is more of what I'm looking for. just kind of blend it in here. Because for some reason that's what these things do. And that looks better. That is now a nice, definitely something else is going on in this area of the plane, right? And that's what you see. You look at reference photos, these things are really ugly looking at the underneath behind the landing gear. Yeah, so there we go. So that's it for this for now. The next step on this is a flat clear coat. We're going to take the dull, we're going to take the shine away. Okay, we're going to be taking the shine away on this, and we're going to be leaving it as a flat clear. Okay, the only thing I'm going to want to do probably is I don't want to I want the engine shiny, so I'll probably mask those off, right? So let's look at our elevators. Our elevators are here, and we can do these guys, clean these up. Again, I wanted to go in the direction of airflow. Did I do both sides? No, I didn't. And just do that, and that I'm happy with that. With some dirt and grime, and it's, you can see the panel lines. You can, it's yeah. Okay. There's your before and after look. So I was thinking I might be able to get this thing done today, but I don't think so. I think getting this done today is a wishful thinking, especially because my, my clear coat wound up running. It's dry now, so that's good. So this one can go in this direction. Okay, and Houston, we have a problem. It looks like my clear was not quite dry, and so the paint, the color actually went into the clear, and it doesn't want to clean up now. Up near the top of it, where it was dry, it looks like we're good. But down here it didn't want to clean up. So let's try this. Let's see if I have better results. See, the white spirits clean up this stuff, but they don't attack the Tamiya paint. So let's see if I can clean this. Yes. Good. So able to clean it off much better. Although it's hooey, gotta be careful. I could very easily ruin this, and I don't want to. I gotta let this set. I need it to dry, as it's making it not look all that great, making my wing look very ugly. So I gotta let this dry. Okay, I'll put that aside, and I think what I'm gonna do is let this cure. I'm gonna let this cure for the rest of the day before I add any more to it. Okay. So what else have I got? I have all my ordnance to do. I need to put the, actually I need to clear coat these guys. I have my fuel tanks and my missiles ready, but again, I need to clear coat them. So I need to do that. One thing I did not like, you know, let me just switch this up. I'm going to talk to you for a minute here. I have seen online guys go on and on about cartograph decals and how great they are. And up until now, I've never really encountered them. At least not encountered them that they're advertised as cartograph. The Academy F-15E kit comes with cartograph decals, and that's what I've used on this because I wanted to do the Korean airplane. And it has cartograph decals, and I will tell you now, I have never encountered decal silvering as much as I have with these, where the clear carrier film just doesn't stick well enough and it looks super shiny. And I'll show you. I've poked. Now, of course, one thing you can do is take your X-Acto knife and you poke little holes all over it to allow any air to come out through, and then you use your setter, you know, your Mark set, or your, I use Tamiya's super strong Mark Fit. I use this one, and you get that decal to suck down to the plastic, right? We'll take a look at this though. You can see the silvering right here, and that is terrible. You can see it, and I hate that. I've never had decals do that before. I've heard people complain about Tamiya decals, blah blah blah, they're so thick and blah blah blah. You know what? I never had a problem with Tamiya decals. I think they're fine. Decals are decals. But I've never had the carrier film go from being clear to, well, literally, it's why they call it silver. It's silver. You can see it. It's really weird, and I hate it. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of cartograph decals. I've never had decals silver like that and be so stubborn as to, even after putting clear coat over them, I can still clearly see the outline of the carrier film on them. And I had to use 3 coats of the Mark Fit Super Strong to get them to suck down into the crevices of the panel lines. So, I know guys love the cartograph decals. I don't. I'll take Tamiya decals over cartograph any day. Now, I didn't really use any decals out of the Great Wall Hobbies kit, this one here. I didn't really use any. I used a couple, but not many. Just, you know, just a couple out of it. And other than that, not really anything. A couple of decals like on the missiles and stuff like that, I used those, and those are fine, but that's about it. The rest of it were from the Academy kit, and I'm not a fan. I can't say that I'm a fan of those. I don't like them. It's just me, I guess, but I don't like them. Anyway, I'm going to do a flat coat on this thing, and that should be it for that. I got to do the underside of these, flat coat these. I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna wait today to do those other ones. I got to clear coat these guys, and I have to paint all of these. What are these? The G.W.H or whatever they call those bombs that go underneath there. They're like the smart bomb kind of things on the more modern F-15s. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of these. 4, 8. I got 16. It's got 16 of these that go onto the rails underneath here, like that. Going like that. Yeah, but those I got to paint these. These are still in the primer. These are still primer, so I got to paint these. And yeah, so, but that'll be next time. We'll get this guy closer to being finished, and yeah. So that's where I'm going to end it for tonight, guys. And I want to thank you for watching, and thanks for coming out. And yeah, like I said, I thought I'd be a little bit further along today than I got, but it is what it is, right? Sometimes that's how it goes. Anyway, Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Check out my Instagram. Follow me on Twitch. Blah, 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 blah. And we'll see you all in the next one.